This is Andi Purewal for Boxing News. I'm joined by Opetaia here in Saudi Arabia. Jai, firstly, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Glad to hear it. The rematch, Mairis Briedis. How relieved are you just to finally get back into the ring? Big fight night. I know you've had a couple since, but this is like, it means something more to you, I feel.
Well, I'm ready, man. I'm ready for 12 rounds of war. You know, I'm expecting a hard fight. You know, I got respect for a fighter like Briedis. He's been around for a long time, so I'm ready, baby. Let's go.
Something I was going to ask. You just said you've got respect for him, and I imagine as a fighter you have respect for him. I only saw the snippet, but Matchroom put an interview out where you called him a P-U-S-S-Y. Where does that stem from? Why do you kind of have that ill feeling towards him?
It was more just a heat of the moment, you know what I mean? I don't hold grudges, you know. I'm sure he's a nice guy. You know, they got me while I was a bit angry. Then, you know, he just pulled out of a fight twice, and then they stripped me for the belts and all this stuff that was going on behind the scenes, like. And it was just a whole lot of nonsense. So they done the interview in the heat of the moment, but you know, no disrespect in that way, but this is business at the end of the day. We're going to get in the fight and go to war. So
you want to kind of punish him for?
Not really, man. This shit's not personal. You know, I always say your opponent's never your enemy. You know, this is just a fight game. I got to get in there and I got to win the fight. So however I got to do that, that's what I got to do.
Obviously, Mairis hasn't had a fight like this for a while now, so when you envisage this fight, how do you anticipate him approaching it? Because he'll have a lot of question marks that he'll have to answer for himself when he steps between the ropes with you.
And I'm not taking nothing away from Briedis. You know, he's been around for a long time. He's a very seasoned professional boxer. He's fought the best in the cruiserweight division for a long time, and he's been up there. So, you know, it is what it is. I'm not taking this fight lightly. You know what I mean? I'm expecting a very hard fight. And if it's anything from that, I'm going to be disappointed.
The last time you two fought, it was an unbelievable fight, somewhat a bit of a fight, not necessarily two halves, because obviously you were the one who came out on top, but he certainly seemed to grow into it as those rounds progressed. Do you anticipate it being a similar type of fight?
I think he's going to come out more aggressive this one, you know what I mean? I feel like if he sits back and tries to box with me, he's going to have another bad day in the office. So I'm expecting a lot more pressure. But I've got to answer for everything he brings. You know, I've grown as a fighter. I've gotten better. I've gotten stronger, fitter, sharper. So bring it on.
Last time, obviously, the first time round, you was able to get him to travel back to your home shores. Now you're in Saudi Arabia. Do you feel that might play a part, not having as big of a fan following here on Saturday night?
Not at all. That's not going to make a difference at all. It's a fight. We're here on mutual grounds. So it's all good.
There's a lot of fights which the fans would love to see you involved in if you come past Saturday night with your hand raised. Have you thought about the future? Have you thought about get this rematch out of the way? I mean, it is unifications, big bouts with the other big names in the division.
I'm chasing belts, that's it. You know, I'm not chasing names, I'm chasing belts. So whoever's got the belts, that's who I want to fight.
A couple of fights I just want to put to you. Firstly, you've got Billam-Smith and Richard Riakporhe fighting on June 15th. What's your thoughts on that fight first?
Man, whoever wins, I want the winner.
Who do you think wins?
I don't know, and I don't care. I just want the winner.
Obviously, whilst Billam-Smith's had the belt, you've made that quite clear. You want the WBO belt specifically because it means more to you because of personal feelings towards it. How big of a fight do you feel like that would be yourself and Billam-Smith if he was to beat Richard Riakporhe?
I feel like any of those boys that win that fight, you know what I mean? They're both. I respect them both in the ring. I feel like they're both great fighters. I feel like that itself is going to be a good fight. They both got heart, so you know whoever wins, man, I hope we can make that fight happen.
Zurdo Ramirez is also in the fray there. He's just picked up a new world title himself. Talk to me about him. Did you watch him become world champion?
Honestly, I don't sit back and just watch these fighters. You know what I mean? I focus on my own path. I train hard every day, and whatever name they give me, that's who I fight. You know what I mean? But I want to fight for these belts. I don't care who's got them.
I know you've said that to me in the past, Joe. You're not one who tends to sit there and watch other fighters, but for many, you're the number one in the division. Do you think they sit there and watch you?
Definitely. I feel like I'm their motivation. They know I'm in the trenches. They know I'm working hard. I'm focused on my own path. You know what I mean? They know when they fight me, they got to come correct. So, and I'm the same. You know, I know when I fight these boys, I got to handle business. So that's all we do. We handle business every day So when the fights do come, we've got to perform and do what we do.
You've been quite active recently since a return from a jaw injury. What's the plan beyond Saturday? Again, plan goes ahead and goes well. Is there a certain amount of times you'd like to be out before the end of the year?
Man, hopefully, I'm hoping to roll back out of this with, injury free and then roll into the next fight. It's been good staying active. My career's been a lot of setbacks, you know what I mean? So to be able to roll into this third fight in 6-7 months, it feels good. Stay active, and we're on these big cards. So we've got this window here in my career, which is, it's crucial. So we don't want to waste any time. Like I said, we're staying in our lane. We're training hard. We're ticking every box. We walk into those fights with a full bank. So we're ready. Whoever wants it.
You mentioned there how key activity's been for you, Jai. I just want to throw a couple of things at you. Obviously, we've seen Joseph Parker fought something like five times across a year. Anthony Joshua, I think, 4 times in a year as well. And they produced brilliant displays. Parker against Zhang, obviously against Wilder. And then, of course, we saw Anthony Joshua against Ottavali and then Francis Ngannou. When you kind of look at the activity point of view and you bring yourself into that equation, how important is it for fighters to build that level of activity to bring the best out of themselves on fight night?
Man, I don't get too caught up in it, to be honest. You know what I mean? Like, even after my fight with Briedis, the broken jaw, some of those setbacks, and then going over to OVO Stadium, fighting Jordan Thompson, that was a long period, you know what I mean, that I had off. But we still went down, we performed, because we prepped well, you know what I mean? So I don't look at people like just because they've been inactive, that could mean that they're, not going to perform well, because I've been inactive before. I've come over these hurdles before, so I take every fight like we are fighting for world titles. Every fight for me is crucial for my career, so I don't take light fights.
George, just a couple of things I want to ask you about before we wrap this interview up. Obviously, I'm sure you've addressed it a few times, but the Tyson Fury sparring debacle. What can you tell me about those reports and those rumours that came out that you had somewhat of a very good sparring session with Tyson, which didn't end so well for him?
It was awesome. I'm grateful for the opportunity. We went there, we learned, we grew. Now we've got that experience under our belt. I would have loved to stay longer, but I'm fighting on the same card. You know what I mean? And I'm not fighting a 6'9" orthodox that boxes and moves around. I'm fighting someone that's going to come forward. So it didn't make sense for me to stay there. We're going to focus on our own fight and our own world title. That's the only reason we left. So it was a great experience, though. I'm grateful for it. I was honoured to share the ring with such a good person and an awesome champion.
What did you make of the rumours that you dropped him?
They're all rumours. It's just all bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, I've seen pages say they had footage of it. It didn't even happen. Like, it's complete rumours. So me and my team, we're solid. You know what I mean? We don't talk shit. We get the job done. We stay focused. And all that outside noise doesn't matter to us.
I know you say it don't matter, but does it frustrate you that, obviously, listening to what you've said there, it's not true whatsoever? So does it frustrate you that that was the case, that people were bringing up those rumours, if you will?
Not really. It doesn't affect us in any way. You know what I mean? They're talking about us. We're not talking about them. So it is what it is.
Joe, final message. Anything you'd like to leave on? Anything you'd like to say to those back home?
Well, everyone back home, I appreciate the support, appreciate the love. I hope you're all following me. We're going to go in there, get ready for war. 12 rounds, let's go.